You ready, man?
Yeah. You want to do the sound test?
Oh, shit. We haven't done this in so long, David. I'm already forgetting all procedures. I don't know how to do anything. Here we go. All right. Jesus Christ, David. Oh, do you think, was that your chest hair, bro? I just saw that. Open up your shirt again.
It's really,
are we getting into sex mode?
It's really disturbing sex hair. Chest hair.
Nope, you're right. You got sex hair, dude. That is a full chest of sex hair, dude. That's like Commander Riker's sex hair right there. The epitome of sex,
Plus,
right,
I don't know
David?
that reference. Oh, Star Trek. Oh.
Jesus Christ. What a great start, ladies and gentlemen.
Real quick, do you have sex chest hair?
Not like you, bro. Not even close.
Can you like pull down the shirt? What? Oh
No,
my
it's
God.
embarrassing. It's like little slivers here and there, dude. I don't grow like man chest hair like you. I can't. The '70s mustache is as far as the hair goes.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
what's the Star Trek equivalent of your chest hair?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe Wesley Crusher. maybe Wesley Crusher when he's a teenager. You know, got a little bit of hair sparkled here and there, but we don't. You know, they don't want us to see it because it's Star Trek. You know, gotta stay young forever.
God, of course it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again. We are back after too long of a hiatus, in my opinion, because I missed you. That's why it was so long, David. Welcome to episode 26. 25. Dang it, you put 26 in my head. God damn it. You're so influential, David.
26 what?
Is it the 25th episode?
Yes,
It's the 25th episode. Sorry. Well, you know what?
I told you the correct thing.
Okay. All right. You were right. You told me the wrong. Okay. Let's
I like
crack
this
the next.
cold
Let's do this
open,
one more
man.
time.
We're just...
Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 25, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brian Ortiz, a.k.a. Son of Ortiz.
My name is David Castillo, a.k.a. David Castle.
You said that was no emotion. I like the hands up, but I didn't hear any emotion. Dude, you were back.
Listen, I'm still in surviving the game mode. This is still work watch. Yeah.
We're still there. Sorry, we're still there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We're so glad to be back. We've been gone for a little too long, and if you're still out there, if you still stayed with us, thank you so much. And if you left, please come back. We literally have like 8 viewers. We cannot afford to lose a single person. So please come back, baby.
I don't have anything to add to that. You know, like we obviously we've been out. There's sort of a lot of extenuating, quote unquote life. So there's really no excuse. There really isn't, man. I've been an idiot. Brian is always an idiot, but usually has time for this. So
I do.
We don't have good excuses.
I'm an idiot with time. So that's a great way to put. Thank you, David. But David, that's perfect because, like you said, dude, life is a wreck, if you will. And what is?
You don't need to do this. Go on.
What is the show about? Well, what is life, David, but nothing more than a series of reactions to educational conversations with one another. For those that are now joining us again on episode 25, very simple. Each one of us wants to get to know each other a little better because we have antagonistic attitudes and we hate each other. So we try to coax the friendship. Basically, ladies and gentlemen, we just learn about each other. And that's the point of the show. And we hate each other a little less by the end of it, David.
By the way, you said a word that I really take issue with, which is relation. You should have said romance. That's what this is.
Oh, my bad. Yes. Right. We are. And you know what? This show has given us a very weird romance. I don't know if it's a good one. You know, maybe it's kind of abusive. I don't know, dude. I'm just saying. Hey, David, man, what's going on? It's been too long. David, you mentioned you teased us. You're still on work watch, but I haven't heard from you, baby. There it is. I said that super naturally. I didn't even... It was so natural to me. Baby, darling, sweetheart, what's going on, David? I'm worried about you. I haven't spoken to you in a while, man.
It would have been a Freudian slip if you weren't explicit in your perversions. Yeah.
Right. Correct. True that. And I'm just sexually attracted to you, man. You're a handsome man. I like men with beards. Riker, once again. You might be the Hispanic Riker of my life, dude.
I wish there was a way you could make blood in, blood out references instead of You know, I want to hear you say words like "give me some chon chon." You know, I want to hear like stuff like that. I don't want to hear about like some nerdy sci-fi shit that, you know, you and your other friends share. I don't share that with you.
David, I feel like this round of Work Watch, back in surviving the game, round 2, right? You're in the thick of the movie, right?
I'm still real quick. For the quick reference. I'm still in the phase where I'm using a cigarette planted on a tree to distract John C. McGinley. That's where I'm at. So
that's where you're at. Okay, good reference.
Pulling
good
out
reference
all the
point.
tricks.
Thank you.
Pulling out all the tricks I can. It's not working.
People who are following this and actually know what the hell we're talking about, please mark that on your David Work Watch. We're at the cigarette portion of the movie.
The cigarette smoking a tree portion.
Cigarette smoking a tree movie part. Yes. Thank you very much. Are you okay, man? I feel like this is taking a toll, bro, because I haven't talked to you. I know we've tried a few times. We've had a lot of heavy starts. A lot of shit's happening, man. There was some false scares, or maybe not false scares, but I don't want to give too much, you know, but maybe you might be moving. I don't know. Is that still on the table, David? I have been panicked and scared this entire time when you told me that for you. I don't want that. I understand why, but I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want it. I don't want to lose my friend.
Yeah, man, it's, you know, it's... We've talked a little bit about like kind of unemployment and like sort of, you know, what it's like, you know, how you get through it and so forth. You know, you still work. And I think part of so like I did plan on moving, and then we kind of like, you know, sort of my wife and I kind of like talked about like, you know what, you know, we need like a plan, because one of the things that I had lined up was a potential job in Plano. But of course, the problem there is that like...
It's in Plano?
Exactly. I mean, I have family in Fort Worth. I mean, that's part of it. But like I have family in Fort Worth. So it's be very easy to save money, live with them. If I go all the way to Plano, I'm not going to make like an hour and a half commute.
God, no, dude. That's like going to another... That's no.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
So yeah, my wife talked some sense into me.
So you were set to go, but thank God your wife saved the day and talked you out of it.
Saved the day, talked me out of it.
Another point for her being a hero in my life and stopping you from leaving San Antonio and leaving me, because that would have been super sad and detrimental.
It's funny you say, because we still haven't had like Mr. Juicy together. I mean, you know, if we're not hanging out.
Well, to be fair, it's I feel like you're going through a lot right now, right? Plus, you know, you have to contact you through like 1996 email servers, which is extremely difficult to schedule stuff. So,
am I the only one that does that? Like, what's wrong with that? My thing is,
I feel like I have to email you and then use your pager to get a hold of you. It's very crazy.
Do you have a pager? Because I have one.
I actually have a pager, but it doesn't work anymore. Do you have an active pager? Because I would believe if you had an active pager.
I do not, man. It took me so long to sort of ditch my flip phone, because I was just like, dude, it's a phone. You know, you only need it to call people.
Oh my God.
What's with this iPhone shit?
You troglodyte, I swear to God. You send me emails, and I like my T9 flip phones, please. Get off my lawn. I'm an old man. That's what I hear when you talk about technology, David. I still want... It does... You know what? I think it's my ability to not... I have abandonment issues, and so like I try to hold on to stuff, you know what I'm saying? So like losing you just feels like I never lose you, because we'll always do the show and talk online, but just not having you in the city, I guess, makes me feel uncomfortable. Like, oh God, he's gone. I don't know if I feel uncomfortable now.
I don't get it, man.
David
It's San Antonio. You're in your element, dude. There's a fruit cup stand like anywhere you go.
Jesus, why would a fruit cup stand? What the? It's like you don't even know me. Why would I get I'm more of an elote cup kind of guy, dude. You know that.
That's some bullshit. All right, like you're gonna eat.
Wow. Well, I'm glad that at least. So, where are we now, man? Are you still applying for jobs in San Antonio? It sounds like you're getting interviews.
Still applying. Yeah, I've had quite a few interviews, and it's just like I said, man. It's always a strange process. So, but I've stayed busy. So like I started my own like newsletter for hockey. So.
Do people still use like online newsletters? Is that still a thing also? I haven't heard about that in a while.
So the big thing that you see like even like the big writers, or I'm talking about like people with their own New York Times op-ed is Substack. And you can make money because you can do like paid subscriptions. Mine is free though, because I'm nobody. But I have a loyal hockey following base, and
you have a loyal hockey base?
I do, yes.
Never,
yeah, I know.
I never would have. Maybe I don't know you. I feel like I know you, but then there's this secret sports superstar commentator aside that I have no clue about whatsoever.
It's yeah, man. I have what like I mean, because I started out online as like UFC writer, but I would say like most of my like 1,000+ followers are just like Stars fans.
Let me be honest. Do you not tell your followers that we exist because you don't want them to know that you play Magic? Is that the truth?
Dude, I have posted some of my Magic decks on Twitter. Okay, I do follow some Magic people. I used to be ashamed of that shit. I would not tell, for example, anybody that I dated that I played Magic, for the longest time, because I was just, because Magic is like, there are obviously nerd tiers, and Magic is like very low, because you go to like a sort of like a, before pre-COVID, you go to like a Magic tournament, and
Sure.
it's the stereotype, dude, of the bi-monthly showering dude that's his crack is showing, and when he's sitting down, and
oh boy.
And of course, you have that element of like, it's always been so like male dominated. You're dealing with like a lot of nerds that like don't know how to act around women, and therefore prefer it that way. They prefer everything just be a sausage fest.
I feel like we're losing so many Magic listeners right now. We're just dogging. You're just ripping on these people, dude. So I imagine like you talk about these like stereotypical nerds, but then you come in like sex chest open, fucking deck in hand, ready to go, just a full man with a beard who has smells clean, talks about UFC fighting, ready to dominate any 12-year-old that comes along with any fucking cards, dude. I made you like, you look like you walk in cock swinging, dude.
Listen, like growing up in like that kind of sports atmosphere, you grow up to be competitive. So I treat Magic the same way, man. Like I don't give a shit who this person is in front of me. They're going down, okay? Whether it's a kid, or you'd be surprised, Magic is like, kind of has mostly like older sort of base, I think. Like there's no prisoners taken here.
Damn.
Fuck them.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you are still in Texas. I'm glad that you dominate still in the Magic world, and I hope that you can use your influence to bring us some more followers, David, in the future, man. You got a lot going on right now, dude. Are you emotionally okay? Where are you at? On a scale of the doctor's chart where there's like an angry red face on 1 and a happy face on 10, where are you at right now, dude?
Whatever that emoji is where like the mouth is just like straight. It's not smiling, it's
Middle,
not frowning.
0 5.
Yeah, so that's pretty much where I'm at.
All right. Well, maybe we can get you up to a 6 sometime in the future, buddy.
But it's like I realize like some of this stuff we need to cut because we've kind of bullshitted a lot. But you, man, like how are you? I have not had a chance to, even before we recorded the show, I didn't even ask like, hey Brian, how you doing? Because I'm looking at that, what I think is still a Kroll poster, and I'm like, oh man, he's gonna fuck me up if I don't know the difference.
I'm glad you acknowledge that you think it's a Kroll poster this time. We are slowly advancing on your understanding of what the hell is behind me, you dick. But I got to tell you this little funny story. I got a text from my dad, a man who just clearly every day proves to me that he just doesn't know me as a human being.
Hold on, is this Dad Watch? Are we doing a Dad Watch now?
No, this is just, no, we need a new name for this. What's a good name for lack of father? This is, we'll call this one, Going Out for Milk. That's the name of the segment. Okay. I'm going out for milk. And so Going Out for Milk, yeah, my dad messaged me. I don't know what. He randomly messaged me shit sometimes. I have no fucking clue. I barely answer. And so he sends me this thing about, look at this, Sunday critters. And he took a picture of some animal. I was like, okay, sure, I guess, whatever. No context. I don't understand. And then he sends me a picture of a big ass fucking snake inside of a pot.
Oh, that
and I'm
is...
like, I have a goddamn snake phobia that you started. You started this. And I was just staring at it. I was like, why would this insane fucking man send me this thing? He does not know his own child at all. I think in his mind, there was like an incident when I was a kid and we had to deal with a snake. I think he thinks he was a hero in that moment. And for me, it was pure terror that just destroyed me for the rest of my life.
It's, the way you make your dad sound, it sounded like you would have been better off with Patrick Swayze just robbing banks throughout your childhood instead of showing you pictures of snakes.
Let's be real. I think Brody would have been a better father at this point. Died young with like money and like fucking surfing in Australia. You know what I'm saying? That's probably the better way to go, David. But so that's how I'm doing so far, if that sounds anything. A lot of personal achievement goals. So that's also cool too, man. I'll have more updates on those later.
I was gonna say, man, you're looking good. I mean, I feel like there is kind of like a more like definition around the arms. We still see a little bit of like nippage kind of poking out, but a lot less.
Look at this! Look at this! Look at these guns right here, baby! Look at that! Oh, look
That's
at
a
that,
solid forearm, man.
Look, see, and then,
baby. I mean, you should have stopped like with just the forearm presence, and now you're just okay.
You like that, David? Sex muscles right there, bro. Pachow. Sorry to give you such a boner there, buddy. I apologize. I'm just a boner factory over here.
If there was a Playgirl for like, doughy Latinos, like you would absolutely be a centerfold.
I appreciate that compliment, and fuck you also. It's a double compliment. Sexiest, doughiest Mexican, Brian Ortiz. I feel like I'm going to end up with more of the biker body where just like my arms are jacked, but then my body will just be like muscles under fat. You know what I'm saying? I think that's where my life will probably end up. David, we've talked too much about ourselves, even though the show technically is about ourselves. But I know that you have a topic today for me, man. So why don't I hand it over to you so you can tell me what's going on?
So you're the perfect person to talk about this because...
Oh, shit.
And not just because you're like a super nerd in my head. In my head, you're like,
okay.
you know everything there is to know about like comics, comic adjacent pop culture, and yada yada.
Ooh. Okay.
And so my wife, who knows none of that, and isn't interested in that stuff,
okay, is
a huge fan of Predator. And I was like, and I didn't really
interesting.
I didn't really like. I don't really get like it just scrambles my brain. I'm like, what is it you like about Predator? She actually took me to go see the last one, which was the Predator, right? The Shane Black one.
Yeah,
which was hugely disappointed. But
absolutely,
she's a Predator completist. She watched Predator 2 without me, and I was like, man, you have like an insane tolerance for
You've seen Predator 2 though, right? Just to be clear, you've seen it. Okay. I know you had. Just got to make sure. Otherwise, I would have ripped you a new one if you hadn't. So we're good.
And I actually love that movie. But anyways,
I love Predator 2. That's actually my favorite too, man.
Okay, so maybe we'll talk.
Can I ask you this?
Yeah.
Do you think that Predator in Predator 2 is the weakest Predator ever because he lost to Danny Glover?
So I don't know if we're getting ahead of ourselves. No.
Okay.
For one, there's a scene. Predator 2 with Danny Glover with his shirt off, and he's just jacked. He's swole plus. So
okay.
So for one, Danny Glover was in shape. Is he the protagonist that some of the no? But also, I think there's a lot of other stuff we can kind of talk about Predator 2 in a little bit. But real quick. So I was asking my wife, like, because I love Predator, but I'm like, again, like, this is not the kind of material I would expect her to like. But she was kind of talking about how what makes Predator kind of unique in contrast to a lot of other, say like something like Batman, where Batman sort of the story kind of always changes, the character always there are different interpretations. The Predator movies, she said, and maybe you can take issue with her, but kind of to her is very similar to Shakespeare in that in the same way whenever you see Shakespeare adapted. Right, they may change the setting, but they never change the essential story, and that's very unique among other properties where Predator is very similar. Like, the setting will change, but the story itself does not, because it's so. For one, it was just so refined to begin with. It's got the Predator itself. Right, again, kind of has this sort of
interesting,
almost kind of like sort of this kind of I'm trying to think of like a word other than timeless, but you get where I'm going with that.
Sure.
And so, I thought that was really interesting that she somehow compared Predator to Shakespeare, because obviously like some Predator movies not as good, but so what I was curious to kind of hear from you is essentially what you think about sort of the Predator franchise and what sets it apart from other like franchises or other properties and things like that. Maybe not necessarily whether or not the Shakespeare comparison is fitting, but how you compare it to other things, whether it's like Aliens or Batman or like Thor or Marvel, whatever this shit is.
It's interesting, man. I'm a huge Predator fan. I have been my whole life since I was a kid, man. I was at that right age where the Predator came out, and it was just cool to be like, oh, the Predator, what a badass, And those movies were such like testosterone-filled movies, right? With Arnold Schwarzenegger, all those Jesse the Body Ventura, you know what I'm saying? Just shirts open, ripped apart. There's, gun bullets everywhere. So like as a kid, it was really eye-catching, if you will. And then 2 was cool because it was like urban and more technology, and there was like a cool frisbee that he would throw. Gary Busey shows up. I mean, like, this is crazy. The truth is, I think the franchise has personally not held, and I'll probably get a lot of flack for it, and I love it. I've actually read my favorite comic books are the one where it's Aliens versus Predator, a Predator versus the Justice League, Predator versus Batman. Like some of those stories, one of the best cover arts is like the Predator ripping the Batmobile apart with Batman still like, oh God, like very fucking cool, man. Very, very cool. I think they've held because most franchises from the 80s hold because of nostalgia. That's a big thing. I really love it, man. I enjoy them. Even some of the shittier ones. Like, no, I did not like the Shane Black Predators movie. I don't know what the hell was going on there. I think that was a mistake across the board.
Oh, you didn't think that was a great representation of autism?
Oh, Jesus, Lord heaven.
Right, they're like just a whole other, yeah.
Oh my God. That one was just trying to be a Marvel franchise, and they was just so bad.
Oh, that's a great way to put it. Yeah, it felt like a Predator film trying to be a Marvel franchise.
I think, so anyway, short is of it, I think that the idea of the Predator has held strong in people's mind, but the franchise really wavers. You know what? I will correct myself. 1 and 2 are very good, and so is, I believe, the third one with Adrian Brody, where they drop all of those people on a planet, Predator. I think that one's really solid as hell. But Alien vs. Predator movies are, take them or leave them. Predators, take it or leave it. I have not seen the new one yet on Hulu, so that is my goal.
Okay, but
I like the series, man. I've been a fan of it since I was a kid, man. I used to play Predator in the backyard with my friends and shit.
I don't want to hear this shit. Like, let's rewind, okay? Why?
Wow, I just gave you like my childhood, and you're like, I don't want to hear your childhood bullshit, bro. Move on. I'm giving you gold, David.
Only because I feel like you would have been like a bad Predator. Like if you're playing in the backyard, Brian
that's
is Predator.
Rude. First of all, bro. Just because I may be doughy doesn't mean I can't be a good Predator.
That wasn't what I was talking about, man.
That
wasn't what I was talking about. To me, like the reason why I was kind of getting back to that is I'm really curious what you're like, why you think Predator 2 got it right where the others got it wrong.
2 was especially easy to. I think 2 was a good like home run hitter. No, it was easy because 1 did a great job of just giving us the villain, but not telling us anything about the villain. Like we know they're a species, we know they're hunters, but that's about it. You know what I'm saying? We know they're from another planet. We don't have they're just there to hunt biggest prey because we hear all these people talking about like, oh yeah, they're the demons out to get me, or something in the jungle. Like all this mystery was set up. And then you get 2, and they're like, okay, we need to ramp it up. We need to tell a little bit more history, right? And let's be real here. The thing that everyone gave a shit about the most, spoiler, 3, 2, 1, end of the movie, he goes into the ship, and of course we see the wall of skulls, man. And that's when the world expands all of a sudden. You see the inside of the ship, and of course you notice there's a full-blown fucking alien skull right there. There's a T-Rex skull, so they've been hunting for so long. And of course, all these different Predators come out, all badass with like, there's one like pirate version. That kind of shit was so juicy back in the day, man. And it was so delectable because we didn't get any info. And that's why it was easy because they did basically the same movie until the very end when Danny Glover showed up and the Predators were like, we respect you, Danny Glover. Here's a gun. You know what I mean? So I think it was an easy home run, and I think that's why it stands out. And I think 3 is really good too because it adds a little bit more to the mythos. When you don't add anything to the story, I think those Predator movies are like very forgettable. You know what I mean?
So how did you feel about Danny Glover? Because I
love Danny Glover. I love Danny Glover, right? And all his stuff. and for his own right, he's really fun in Predator 2. But come on, man. Every time I see Danny Glover, I mean, he was still like close to retirement every time, I feel like. I know that he was not that old, but the dude looks like he's close to retirement. It's hard for me to believe that Danny Glover could like jump off a building onto a pipe and then fall back and then climb a building. It just seems really hard to believe.
Did you
sometimes.
see him with his shirt off?
Yeah, it doesn't. I know, but it's the 90s, dude. So they also put him in like super baggy clothing because that was like the hot thing to do back in the day. So he looks like he can't. I don't see any muscle definition, right? Lethal Weapon was in 1987, right? And Predator 2 was in 1991.
Okay.
So my problem is that in my first impression of Danny Glover was Lethal Weapon, where he's like, I'm getting too old for this shit. Then you get the saxophone that goes with it. You know what I'm saying? That's my impression. He was a dad. He was too old. And then all of a sudden, in the follow-up to Arnold Schwarzenegger's Predator, the dude was like oozing sex juice out of his body. We go to Danny Glover. And I was like, but isn't he close to retirement? Like, this dude doesn't feel like he can punch a predator. And I know that there's an argument that he's like, well, he's more cunning and smarter than the Predator. He outsmarts him on the urban streets. And I'm like, sure, okay. Still doesn't look like he could beat a Predator. Just saying.
Listen, to me, it's the George Foreman principle. Like, doesn't matter how he looks, this is still a fighter through and through.
Sure.
And so that's kind of how I accept it. I think one of the things that Part 2 really does great in sort of is, in the first one, you don't just have Predator as kind of like as Schwarzenegger's kind of nemesis. There's also Dylan. So I thought it was great also that they do the same thing with Danny Glover's character by bringing in the insane Gary Busey, who's also just a thrill in that movie, and maybe even the best part of Predator 2. I mean, it's not like what you want to say out of a good Predator movie, but
true. It also has a very early work of Adam Baldwin. I remember that. That was like the first major appearance for me of Adam Baldwin. Before he did DC Cabs, I remember him in this movie, Predator 2.
Before he became like a Trump supporter and sort of gun
Well,
nut.
we don't want to. We like to remember Firefly Adam Baldwin, not this new version of Adam Baldwin.
not John Boyd era Adam Baldwin.
Correct. Yes, exactly. So we'll avoid that one for now, buddy. So we'll just let that go. Okay, I'll say this. I appreciated the struggle that Danny Glover went through and surviving. You know what I'm saying? Like, that worked for me. I was like, okay, that's a cool story to tell. This man is out of his depth, out of his element, and he's struggling to hold on as best as he can. And that particular part of the story is, I think, what gripped me the most and is the most memorable of Predator 2.
I gotta say, I cannot square this. Like, I mean, yeah, sure, he plays a quote unquote old man in Lethal Weapon, but like the idea that Danny Glover doesn't look capable is just like insanity to me.
Maybe we're looking at the wrong movie, okay, dude? I'm just saying. He just doesn't. He looks like he's always. Poor guy is in the heat of LA. He looks tired and sweaty all the time. He's wearing like big clothing. Nothing is flattering. It just doesn't have the idea to me of someone who can survive this alien hunter species that has been bred for this one fucking thing. That's what I'm saying.
So, in terms of a personal question, the Predator movies, right? It's kind of the sort of, it's all about the hunt. The hunt, right? I think that was even like the tagline for the first one, right?
Right.
The hunt this summer or some shit like that. Anyways, in your own life, what are like some strong parallels with something that has given you the sensation of like a hunt? Where like, you either whether it's, whether you're Schwarzenegger or whether you're Predator, right? Whether that sounds terrible. All right, so maybe we'll take out the name Predator out of this description, but you get what I'm saying, right? Where you sort of,
oh boy, David,
perhaps you a life scenario where you've felt hunted by something, or where you've been on the hunt, so to speak.
Let's be real here, dude. We all know that in my life, I'm a predator when it comes to the ladies. Wait, that sounded really wrong too. Hold on. Right, okay, let me try that again.
The word predator, we just got to eliminate it right now. Just again, hunt. Hunt is.
I'm always on the hunt when it comes to the ladies.
Well, obviously like not
predator.
Anymore.
Nope, I can't say predator in that. I just can't save it. I'm trying to save the predator here. Goddamn. All right, I'm a hunt. I'm a formidable alien on the hunt for women to man. I just can't save it, bro. Everything I say just sounds like I'm going to be caught on camera.
Yeah, but, like you gotta just ditch the whole like women angle.
Okay.
You gotta
Look, the reality is if I'm anybody, I'm probably closer to like Bill Paxton or like Ruben Blades' character the most in all of these movies. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the reality. Probably Bill Paxton, to be honest. I want to be cool like Danny from Predator 2, but I'm not. I wish I'm not cool as that fucking dude. So I'm probably closer to Bill Paxton. I talk a lot of game. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm doing cool. I die trying to save somebody, but I do die in the end. That's probably the closest I come to. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Fuck, it's a good question. I'm definitely not the hero in my own story. How about that? That's a good start.
But I
don't see myself as the hero.
I think that says a whole lot. We could like devote a whole podcast to unpacking that statement. But I think
I'm giving you gold, David. I'm giving you gold.
I think the idea here is more of like, when have you like had to, diligently track something where it's like, for me, like, I think about like the hunt for a job. That's my Predator mission.
Dude, smooth circle on that, dude. So I think of my hunt for the job.
So I'm curious, like a serious hunt, not like oh man, I'm Chris Hansen's most wanted.
Yeah, I'm not a predator for the women. Just to be clear, just if anyone's confused, I am not a predator of women. I think the biggest hunt in my life, dude, would probably have to be the hunt for happiness. I'm just kidding, David. That's never going to happen. I lost that battle a long time ago.
The way you say that, I'm like, yeah, he's hunted for happiness, man. Like,
aren't we all though, David? I feel like we're all on the hunt for happiness in life, dude. Just a little bit of happiness in our world is all we want, man.
Because you use a word like happiness, and like to me, that like. Happiness is like too broad. Like to me, I think of the word happiness like I think of the word like heaven. Like it's just too abstract. It's not what you should strive for. But I mean, it sounds like maybe like the hunt for peace. You seem like somebody that's kind of
sure.
And peace at what? I'm not sure what, but
I'll tell you what it is. Knowing myself more than anything else, probably I would be on the hunt. I'm always on the hunt for personal balance. Like I live and exist for balance in my life, from my emotions to my relationships. I like everything to just be on the scale perfect. So I'm always on the hunt to achieve perfect balance. And I know that's an abstract idea, and I know you hate that shit. But like that for me is one of the biggest hunts of my personal life. Balance, David. I gotta have balance.
So like balance in what sense? Like balance in like work with relationships?
Yes. I have to have I'd love to have work, a good relationship, solid infrastructure when it comes to income. You know what I'm saying? I want to have a home. I want to keep myself healthy. I want to make sure that I have the things that I want to have. I want to make sure I'm happiness when it comes to my own personal adventures. Like I want to be satiated and fulfilled with my own personal goals as art. You know what I'm saying? I want everything to be happening and going and be successful so I can feel balanced. When one thing is missing, the scale is tipped, it just drives me crazy, and I work harder to get it back to the middle again. You know what I'm saying? Not perfectly still, fluctuating, but man, when something is off, oh God, it kills me. I mean, it just really kills me inside, dude.
So you think that one thing screws you up?
Absolutely. I'm very ill. I'm very unbalanced. I'm a very unbalanced man who probably requires medication. But when one thing is off, I just never feel settled correctly. Do you know what I'm saying? I could have the height of height in careers, but if I don't have this one thing at the bottom to balance it, fuck it. None of it matters.
Do you know what you need? You need that 1586 gun that's given to Danny Glover.
At the end of my life, David, on my deathbed, I want a predator to come in, look at me with respect, and toss me a pirate pistol, a flintlock pistol. Every person's goal at the end of their life.
Oh, man, that would be like a serious milestone. Like a predator gives you respect, hands you a weapon. I don't even know if there's a better compliment.
I don't think so either. That's why that's why, despite all the things that to me that movie really does work, because at least if make all the comments that you want. At the end of the day, it's a great movie because it's unique in its own story, and our protagonist, our hero, achieves differently than Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Like, we all know that the story is that the human has to defeat the predator, blah, 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 right? And in the first one, Arnold Schwarzenegger survives the predator. Just survives. That's all he does. Danny Glover, on the other hand, survives and goes a little further, gaining the respect of a tribe of predators. Do you know what I'm saying? And that, to me, makes it different and cool and memorable. That's what makes for such a good... Those two movies are so good because they're just so different in their approach, though it's still man versus predator.
Well, I think, one of the reasons why I asked this question, and one of the reasons why I'm kind of going towards that, is that there is like an element of competition. Like, it's not just like a fucking kill for the sake of killing kind of like franchise. Think about like how resourceful most of the heroes have to be in all the Predator movies. And that's why I'm interested in kind of like that question, which is for Brian, son of Orthy, what has required you to be resourceful? What have you learned from that resourcefulness? Are you even resourceful at all? You don't seem like you are, but maybe you are.
Let's see. The real question is, am I resourceful enough to survive a predator attack?
It's not the real question, but you can answer that.
Absolutely not. I'm too plushy. I wouldn't even be a good trophy skull. Like, he wouldn't even skull me and take me as a trophy. Why? Because I laid down and I was just like spread eagle on the floor, ready to die. That's not going to save me, bro. I'm not going to get saved. So the reality here is I'm not resourceful. In my personal life, yeah, man, I think I've at this age, I think I have become resourceful enough. You know what I mean? I like my personal skill set to, assess a situation, whether it be something personal, emotional, social, and I can adapt to it as best as I can. I was, for health reasons alone, the doctor told me, hey, dude, you came in for all these checkups and you can't do all of these things. Well, I found the problem. You're fat as shit. That's the problem. And so you have two choices. You can fix yourself, or you can just do nothing and come back in with more problems. So instead of just laying down spread eagle for the predator to kill me, I decided instead I pulled my resources, whether it be like my discipline or my actual like physical resources like gyms and stuff like that, and I used all of my mental capacity and discipline to try and work out. And here I am, healthy, happier, still plushy, not able to handle a predator yet. But hey, you know what? Again, Bill Paxton, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bill Paxton. I survived long enough. I make an impact.
Yeah, dude. When you started like losing weight, getting serious about exercise, and there was a real like tangible difference. I was just like, damn, man. Like he's not where Danny Glover was at in Predator 2. I don't think Bill Paxton is correct either. I think you were like the Maria Conchita Alonso. I think that's kind of like your ceiling.
What?
She was what? What? She was badass.
Is it because we're both Mexican? That's why, dude?
I wasn't even thinking that.
But now you are, so you're welcome. Okay, yeah, dude. Way to stereotype me. Can we just make it clear here? I know. I want to ask you this. I think I know the answer. In Predator 2, who are you?
Honestly, man, I think I'm absolutely one of the like completely like racially insensitive like Rastafarians that gets like murked in that like skyrise.
God, no, dude. We know who you're Danny, dude. You're 100% Danny. You're badass. You're that cool, wise guy that knows what's going on. He figures it out before everybody else, and then he dies.
It's funny. I thought you were gonna say Gary Busey.
God, no, dude. You're not batshit crazy.
Well, I thought,
not yet, at least, dude.
Sir, my love of like violent sports like boxing. I thought maybe like
absolutely not. You're Danny, 100%. You're the Danny character, dude. You figured it out super early, and then you died early. Sadly, sorry, but like you motivate Danny Glover to work harder and fight the bad guy, dude. You're an inspiration to us all as Danny. How does that make you feel? You're an inspiration, David.
By the way, how weird is it that when Gary Busey dies and gets cut in half, you never see the top half of his body fall?
Never makes sense to me. Never made fucking sense to me. Coolest
crazy
scene in the world. Blew my mind that there was no top half dropping.
Also, what health problems did Gary Busey have that like his insides are just nothing but like jelly, like grape jelly? Like I didn't see any intestines. I didn't see a liver. Like nothing else fell out. It was just. And what was his body being held by that they could all just fall out so easily?
I always like to imagine for some weird reason that Gary Busey was holding on to something at the top and he was just like, yeah, and then just like cut in half and his body like died holding on to something and he was just dangling with his mouth open in that weird Gary Busey pose. And that's how he died. That's what I like to imagine.
They did have, Dylan's arm still firing a gun after it was severed. So, I mean, it would be in keeping with the Predator franchise.
Exactly. See, I know what I'm talking about. I know exactly what I'm talking about, buddy.
I still think there's kind of like more underneath the hood in the Predator franchise.
People always hate it. Aliens versus Predator Requiem. Do you remember that one? That was the sequel to Aliens vs. Predator, right?
Shit, that was the worst.
In my opinion, Aliens vs. Predator is atrocious. Like, that movie's just bad. Not as bad as Shane Black's Predators, but this one is bad. But I really like Alien vs. Predator Requiem for two reasons. One, the cast is not that famous.
You think the second one is better than the first one?
I do, because the cast is not that famous. So we don't really have any attachment to any of those people from a story standpoint. So we are like, who are they going to kill? None of these people are famous enough to live. Two, I like the fact that the Predator is there to kill, like to clean up a mess. He's not there to hunt necessarily. He's like, okay, someone came here and truly fucked up. I have to clean everything up. And he's just taking out a bunch of aliens as much as possible in the town, which is pretty fucking dope.
Man, I cannot stand for this. Like, I mean, I think, yeah, sure. Like, you don't have, as famous actors, but at that point, like, and that's kind of how that movie plays out anyways. Like, just like teens getting killed, like a horror slasher.
Absolutely.
That's not as interesting. Wasn't it PG-13? No, it wasn't, because they kill a kid right away.
Yeah, they killed a kid. Come on, man. They ain't scared, dude. Look, in the scheme of like
and a pregnant woman,
crappy Predator movies, like this is the better. I would watch this over Shane Black's Predator movie any day. How about that?
Okay, but my God, that's a super low bar. I think
I
would watch the Predator over it, but yes, with some serious reluctance. The one thing I'll give Alien vs. Predator is that it has one of the absolute like coolest action shots in the entire franchise, which is
what is that?
When towards the end, when Predator's fighting the Queen Alien and does that like hyper jump, like spinning jump with the spear in the side of the head. that was
Christ.
Cool. No?
Boo.
Oh my God.
Boo.
Oh man, you're gonna take like
Get out of here. Boo.
Born teenagers getting killed by Predator over that shit, man. I can't.
You're welcome.
I thought we were getting somewhere. I thought we were like closure, working towards some closure. We are not. We're back to square one.
Well, who would I be if I didn't give you closure, David? As usual, David, I always like to bring these things. I always, just when you think you've got me, David, pinned down, I derail the whole thing as always. And you're welcome, by the way. Thank you very much. I will stand on my ground that Aliens vs. Predator Requiem is a better movie than Aliens vs. Predator and better than Shane Black's Predator on that same exact note. But David, we could talk circles about this, and I believe me, we will. But we have to come to the end of this thing because I have to edit this, and I don't want to edit that much work. So let's be real here. This is the part of the show where you tell me what you've learned about me in this Predator conversation, my friend. Good luck. I look forward to hearing this. David, cue the music. There it is. David, what did you learn about me today?
First off, this is a great choice of music. Really soothing, almost like ASMR style. So I'm going to use my ASMR voice.
Okay, here we go. And people, turn up your volume. Here we go.
What I would say is that we often have assumptions about people and who we think they are, how we think they're going to act, how they'll behave. And for most people, those assumptions, they confirm their biases, confirm those assumptions. And for Brian, my assumption has always been the soft peach. Brian is just the soft, he's the soft
always.
Peach.
God damn it.
But you don't have to be like hard to be resourceful. You don't have to be strong to be a good hunter. And that's kind of what I see in you, Brian, like a person that you may look like someone that's going to be the bottom in the relationship. And you may look like the Bill Paxton in the movie, who's really not going to offer much resistance. But don't forget that in the end, Bill Paxton went out like a gangster, put up a fight, and has something to be proud of. Bill Paxton's character will be honored in the end. And I think you will too. And I think that's because you have much more resources, not just with family and friends, but within, at your disposal.
I'll be swinging to the end, David. Swing it to the end, baby, in a train car. Screaming, trying to save a pregnant woman. Woohoo!
With a katana.
With a katana. Yeah, at least I died pretty gruesomely, so not too bad. Better than what I say, spread eagle on the floor, just saying, take me, daddy. Like, nobody wants to die like that. Oh, boy. Ladies and gentlemen, there we go. You've made it to the end of a Predator episode, which I could go on and on about because I really do love this franchise. But thank you for staying with us for so long and listening. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to like, share, give us 5 stars, and give us a review. If you give us 5 stars and a bad review, we'll probably read it on air. If you give us 5 stars and a good review, we'll also read that on the air because it's always fun to get roasted a little bit. If you have any suggestions for topics of conversation, or if you'd just like to ask us some advice, because we'd love to give you some of our advice from our long-standing history as friends and human beings, reach out to us at recthepod@gmail.com. That's recthepod@gmail.com. You can also reach out to us on Twitter at recthepod. That's recthepod. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you had a good time. Dave, is there anything you'd like to say before we leave?
Oh, man, I just hope I get a job.
God damn, man, I hope you... What a sad place to end this, but totally true, dude. I hope you get a job. David, please don't leave us. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brian Ortiz, a.k.a. Son of Ortiz.
My name is David Castillo, a.k.a. David Castle.
We hope you had a good time. Ladies and gentlemen, please come back. We'll be here hopefully sometime again in the future. Life's getting real crazy. We don't know when we'll be back, but please stay with us. Everyone collectively send out your energies so David finds a job so he doesn't leave me and further my existing abandonment issues. Because if you leave, then that's 2 dads that would have left me.
That was way more depressing than what I said.
Nailed it. Woohoo! Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out. Bye, everybody. Life's a Wreck is an FC podcast production created by Brian Ortiz and David Castillo, recorded in our homes and edited by me, Brian Ortiz. Theme song and outro by Hard Power USA. Check them out on SoundCloud. And please let us know what you think about the show by rating us and leaving a comment. You can also email us topics of discussion for future episodes at recthepod@gmail.com. That's recthepod@gmail.com. Hey, thanks for listening to our little slice of the podcast world. And we'll see you at the next episode.